Here's the real reason why most beginner photographers do not improve in their photography or their skills. So I've spoken to a few photographers who seem to be stuck in the same place, and I've been there before. I've been there before, where you've been constantly comparing yourself. You've been constantly, looking at other people's photos and just going and then saying towards your photos that you're not that great, which is not a good thing, especially if you're trying to improve your own photos. But you seem to just be this constant self-doubt, and you're just constantly being negative towards yourself, as if somebody's telling you that you're absolutely bad, but that person telling you is actually yourself, which is not great overall. And the thing is, when I was studying it took me a long time to get to where I am today, as I had gone through lots of mistakes and also gone through a lot of comparisons and a lot of thoughts about myself, especially with my health and other things. And so the big thing was to actually stop comparing myself towards others. Was the big thing. Stop comparing yourself towards others is probably the biggest thing I see in most beginner photographers, as I see someone else's success or their just photography in general, and they're taking photos of like this Lamborghini and taking photos of this Bugatti, or they're just like taking photos of this nice beautiful place in Greece or something, and then they look at their current situation. They're stuck in an office or something, and they're like, I kind of wish I was there. And then they kind of just look at their own life as if it's really bad, which it probably isn't. It's just that thought of that thought has just led to them thinking that their life is not that great, which, some people have their situations, some people don't have those bad situations. Just sometimes we create those thoughts, and we tend to go negative straight away instead of going positive, instead of like looking at that certain photo or looking at that certain car, or going like, I could take photos of that car, but I just gotta, but then you gotta look at it from these actions here, and then it might lead towards the opportunity to actually take photos of that, your dream car, something like that. That's a big thing. So the roadmap in terms for me when I was starting out was during school, and then I went towards TAFE, which was the biggest thing, like the biggest realization that I am not that good, because I had a bit of an ego, as when I was in school I was like the only one that really took it seriously. Like most of my friends would try and get my answers from me, even though I wouldn't really have much of a clue in terms of like the artists, I can't remember who the artists were, but just like all the all the answers from the worksheets, and they'll just try and talk to me going like, oh, do you know the answer for this? I'm like, yeah, totally. And then I just talk about something, and they go, yeah, that's pretty convincing, and then I just do that. But then, whereas in TAFE it was a whole different world in terms of just learning photography overall, in terms of just camera settings, in terms of techniques, in terms of studio work and stuff. I've never done studio work. I've only used the darkroom beforehand, and that was like a bit overwhelming for me, especially. And then when it comes to the biggest thing was actually presenting my own photos again, presenting my own photos, which I've talked about, where we had to talk about our own photos, and I had no idea where to actually talk about my own photos, and I had to actually give people details of them. And so I just went, oh, this is so and so in the city, and then that's it. There's no story behind it. It's just kind of just me going like, yeah, I took the photo there, sort of thing. And so big realization that I actually need to improve a whole lot more. So that was a big thing for me, was just for me to just improve in that certain aspect. But I took it as a deconstructive way, as if it just tore me down, and I kind of looked at that, and then I kind of looked at it in that way, and then I got towards the point where I actually compare myself towards other people's photos who are way ahead of me. Do not do that, especially towards people like Peter McKinnon and North Borders. Do not compare yourself towards them, because they have a different life than you, and then also they've got years and years of experience. So don't compare yourself towards people who are way ahead of you, because it's a waste of energy, and it's a waste of your time, especially if you're trying to improve in your photography. Don't do that, because comparison just takes your energy away from you, and I know how it feels. So never do that. I honestly just don't want you to do that one thing, besides any other point I'm going to be saying. I was very embarrassed in terms of my own photos as well, and so that wasn't really a great thing, as I would be oversaturating them, I'd be over-editing them, and I'd be also editing them in a very wrong way, like as if as if some 10-year-old was playing the software and then just kind of just was like, bam, there you go. And the subject of the photos, or no, the subject of the photos were just too dark to see, because I just literally turned on the adjustments and went 100, 100, 100, and then just put them all the way towards the other side for darkness, so it makes it a whole lot more darker, which is you just don't want to do anyways. But this led to me also to doubt my abilities after TAFE as well, as I took the TAFE, as they did ask me if I want to do another class or whatever it was, and I said no, because I failed the course. I failed the course I was doing, and then I kind of just let that kind of just led me to doubt my abilities to actually become a professional photographer, or just a photographer in general. And so that kind of just led towards a dark place towards me, where I was just playing video games, I was drinking, and then all those certain aspects I've talked about in my own Instagram as well. We're out of that cycle now, which is absolutely fantastic. But that led me towards doubt. That really led me to doubt my own abilities. It actually took my passion away from my photography. And if I didn't go through that phase, that wouldn't give me the strength or all these stories to actually come back and actually do photography itself. As I would look at my own camera bag back then, I'll go like, I'll take photos tomorrow, then I'll do the exact same thing. I'll do the exact same thing, like just leaving my camera bag towards just the side, and then I'll just go like, oh no, I'll just take photos tomorrow. Well, that was at least a year, or at least I took photos for all like occasions in terms of just going on holidays and stuff. But the one thing was just ignoring. I was just completely ignoring my own passion, which was never great. It led to me to consume. Once I got back into photography, I was stuck in towards consuming photography as well, consuming a whole lot of tutorials as I was coming back into it. But the one person who just talked to me the most was Peter McKinnon. He just talked to me the most, and if I was to meet him, I would probably just give him a hug and go, "You have literally reignited my own passion of photography." If I was going to meet him, that is. But the biggest thing was to literally, I guess, keep on consuming the right amount of tutorials, and then just going through that little phase of that overwhelming part and actually figuring out as to what it is that I need to improve on, and what it is I don't need to improve on overall. And so and also I really should have documented my own journey, but that's okay. I can just talk about it towards you today. But that's alright. I know that feeling in terms of being stuck into your own photography, and being in terms of consuming a whole lot of tutorials, comparing yourself, and just doubting your own abilities, because that just doesn't lead you into a good energy or just a good way of your own photos. You tend to just don't enjoy it as much if you just keep on doing those type of habits of just doubting your own abilities and just doubting your whole entire photography skills overall, because I know how that feels. But you often need to examine yourself in a third person sort of view, and see what you're doing from day to day, and see what habits you're doing, see what your what your habits are, seeing what you do during the day, and see what you do during the night and stuff. You often need to look at your day-to-day basis. That's what you need to do, and then that way you can actually look at yourself and go, what is something I need to get rid of, and what's something I need to keep? Like, for example, your phone. If you keep on scrolling through for about an hour and a half towards 2 hours, that's something that you can just take away. And then, for example, you could also do with that is just turning off your phone completely and removing it towards the other room. That's literally what I did before I was recording my video. That's the one thing I've been trying to do lately, was actually to just not look at my phone, because I feel like it's just sucking the soul out of my body and just going through my attention span, especially because that's the big thing at the moment, attention spans. And so that's just the one thing. That's just a really good example. Just taking away your phone would just make you focus a whole lot more into your computer, or looking at just your goals in general. The thing is, what I got out of prioritizing my own self in terms of my own health, that's how it actually reignited my own photography, was actually just prioritizing a whole lot of my health and a whole lot of my mind as well, so I can actually look at stuff from the negative way into the positive way, because that's what you want to do. Because that's what you want to do. You want to kind of want to like reverse engineer everything, like in towards negatives to positives, because a lot of people can talk about negatives a whole lot more easier easier. There you go. A lot of people can talk about negative stuff a whole lot more easier than positive things. Some people can have, like, they can talk about negative things a whole lot more than positive things, and you tend to, once they talk to you about those negative things, you tend to feel that negative energy towards them, and then that makes you feel negative, if you get what I mean. If you are stuck somewhere in terms of your photography journey as well, I suggest to go ahead and actually download my free camera setting cheat sheet, which will take you under 5 minutes to literally learn about camera settings as well. If you just comment the word settings, I'll send it to you into the comments. And also, if you don't want to comment by any chance, you can just download it from the description below as well. That is how most beginner photographers do not improve on, is literally just their mindset and literally the way they look at their own photography and just the way they approach their own photography as well. And also just like some scenarios from my own life in terms of just starting out, that's leading me towards just comparison and self-doubt as well, which is the two like big common things for most creators and most people that are in this industry as well, especially because social media is also a big game as well, especially with comparing your life towards someone else's, because that is their journey and never yours is the biggest reminder. Like, that's their journey, not yours. Just go towards your own lane and just run that 100-meter sprint, and then keep on running through that again and again each day. Like, keep on reminding yourself as well. And the big thing I actually just looked through as well, before I turned off my phone, was actually a guy named Mino Lee. If he's a big person in terms of Instagram, where he actually spoke about how he actually talks about his goals, where he actually says them out loud, which is a big thing I'm actually going to be doing later on probably, where if you just keep on saying your goals out loud, you eventually program those goals into your own brain. It's like a GPS is what he actually said in the video. That's, yeah, okay, that's quite a good memory of me. But anyways, speak your goals out loud, and then eventually they will get into your head, as he's a big authority at the moment in terms of Instagram, in terms of what I see, and he's trustworthy towards me, and so yeah, that'll be about it for today. And if you do enjoy this video, please give it a like, share it, and also the big button as well as subscribing as well. So hope you enjoy your day, and it's also the first video for 2025 as well. So yeah, see you guys later.